people are doing elimination diets. They're cutting out gluten when they don't really need to be. But I think people are trying so hard and so sincerely to do things to improve how they're feeling. And they're just they're pulling all the ropes because they're not really sure and they don't know.
I've got a thyroid disorder, so I'm going to take all these things for my thyroid. My adrenals are shot, so I'm going to take all these things for my adrenals.
It's a house of cards. Then it becomes, then you get the house of cards.
Yep. I start people with basic vitamins, basic minerals, diet change.
What are the basic, we don't want to create any issues, but just on a general level, like looking at our population, what are vitamins that we all should really consider making sure we're getting the minerals?
So when you break down, ashes to ashes and dust to dust, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your ash made of?
Mineral.
60% calcium, 24% phosphorus, 12% potassium, 85 trace minerals. You are minerals, and those minerals and your soil, the distribution of those minerals dictates the ability of your body to generate energy.
Right.
Okay, so calcium regulates all the other minerals and how they move in and out of the body. Mm-hmm. But there's various forms of calcium that raise your pH, various forms of calcium that lower the pH. And so there's an ideal pH, for biological optimization, it's 6.4. And you need all of these, basically these calcium. So you learn how to pick which foods that'll move your chemistry in the correct direction to improve efficiency. The problem is our foods today. Have you ever heard of soil depletion? Mm-hmm. And all they use is NPK, and Franken farming, right?
Yeah.
And so you turn around and you're not getting the minerals you need. Right. So you need to take some. So people are walking out of here with specific forms of calcium, specific forms of magnesium, specific forms of, have you ever heard of Hans Neiper?
Yes.
The Curious Man. Yes.
Yes.
So he gave us the idea of how minerals act as cofactors.
Yes.
Specific forms of minerals to allow viruses not to transmit across the cell membranes, to allow the firing of the heart to keep in rhythm. And how, so I incorporate Hans Neiper's work with Kerry Reams's work. And then when you're looking at the blood, when you're looking at the chemistry, it shows you that these basic vitamins are going to be deficient. So many people are going to walk out of here with B12 and folic acid because you look at their blood and 90% of people are in need of it. Some people with a little bit of iron, most with selenium and zinc. Some of them with manganese if they have hormonal imbalances. Some of them with trace amounts of copper or iodine. And so I'm looking at how to fix their soil to generate more energy is what it comes down to. I think one of the biggest things that just happened with me is that how to explain natural medicine, how you interact with the world around you.
Right.
Okay. And so years ago, there was a boiler that caught on fire or was steaming or something, and the fire department was here when I showed up on a Saturday morning. And I'm just like, hey, I need to go into my office and at least get my book so I can call everybody to cancel appointments. Yeah. And we canceled appointments using cell phones. At least we had them at that time. And then my office assistant's like, Doc, you overwhelm people. They come out of here and they're just like, their head's spinning with the amount of information. So we sat down, had a cup of coffee and she's like, what are you trying to do? And I'm like, number one, people need to realize that they interact with the world around them. Okay. And that you're only as healthy as what amount of burden you have on your body. So I created what we call the 5-phase optimal system. Phase 1, clean up your environment, pure air, pure food, pure water, EMF protection. I'm looking at quality of what you're putting on your body, what you're eating, and those type of things. Phase 2, test. It's identify your causes, test for food sensitivities, test and identify. Do you have mold toxins? Do you have heavy metal toxins? Test and identify so what your specific burdens are. Phase 3, support. And support is not, hey, I have an adrenal and thyroid disorder, so take everything for that. And support is not everybody needs CoQ10 and fish oils and whatever else or multivitamin. Support is what can I identify that you specifically need in order to achieve what your body needs to achieve. And that's where the chemistry RBTI came in. So we give people the basics of what you need for the body, to support a process, not buy a product. Right. Phase 4 is detoxification. It's going to happen. You lower the load on the body below the threshold. You raise the threshold by giving people what they need. Next thing you know, their body's going to start cleaning up shop because I'm gaining up more energy, and detox is a natural process. And so many people just go to detox clinics and be like, and they feel great after they get sick and go through it.
Right.
And then they slowly go back to the same lifestyle and do the same thing.
Yes.
And then phase 5 is self-awareness, is incorporating the aspect of you can change the world if you really, realize your impact even on those around you and potential influence, or, just be positive in your changes,
Right.
But also self-awareness is like, realizing that when that body gives you a symptom, there's a reason for that, and not just take something to get rid of it. So that 5 phases led to the foundation of helping people to see, okay, this is how I interact with the world. It was RBTI that came in later that showed me specifically what people needed, and the blood. Looking at people's blood's just amazing.
What can people expect, or what are some things they might start to notice when they start taking this product, and how long can they and I know that's really hard because everybody's different. Everybody's bodies are different, but generally, what can they start to experience, and how long might it take before they start noticing changes?
It's usually mental focus and energy.
Awesome.
And many people, first dose.
Wow. I definitely need a couple bottles.
If you go and you look at the videos and stuff, we did a video with Kathy Ireland and stuff, and we had somebody interview, and she's like, oh my God, the very first day I took this stuff, and we have just go to the reviews on Amazon is what I tell people, because I can't make those claims. Right. But we've had 70-year-olds say that they get their sex life back after 6 years.
Oh, hey.
We've had 40-year-olds say, my husband loves that I take this product because I'm back after him. You know what I mean? And we've had people say that they can get through their day. We've had people say their thyroid condition's correct. We've had people say their hair comes back in, from and getting dark, where their hair was white. And all of a sudden their hair is growing in dark from the bottom up. And they're like, what's happening here? So we've seen some amazing things, but again, we can't claim that that's what goes on by taking this product. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And
that's why I tell people, hey, write the reviews and thank you for the reviews.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm right after the show. I'm just going to go order a couple bottles because I really need that.
Send you one for certain.
Oh, thank you. So, okay. So folks, you've got the link, you heard the links, but check the show notes so you can go on there, enter that code, get the 10% off. Cause this does, I can remember way back, I was still living in Vancouver, Canada at the time when I first started hearing about telomeres, and like looking into this and going, this is really, really good stuff. But at the time, anything available was incredibly expensive. And I was coming out of university and, just making ends meet, but I was like really fascinated. And then my father, who's very advanced stages Alzheimer's now, when he was first diagnosed, I remember looking again at like, gosh, I wonder if this is something that had he started taking or been using, if there would have been any difference in how quickly he declined, or even that
I have a story about that.
Oh, please share.
I had a lady who gave it to her husband who had Alzheimer's. And then one day they were sitting down and he went upstairs and he came back down with his sweater on. She's like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, I went up to get my sweater because I was cold. He had not made that connection for over a year.
Wow. Yes, because that's one of the things that goes. They feel the body sensate like hunger, and they don't associate it with hunger. It's just like my stomach hurts or I feel sick, but they couldn't make the connection. They don't make those connections.
And when he went out, she was in tears telling me about him going to get his sweater.
Yeah, gives me goosebumps actually. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I'm really, really excited. Like I read about the product and I was excited reading about it, but hearing you talk about it, I'm way more. I don't have a word that's better than excited, but I am that. If there was a word, that's how I feel about it. And I am so grateful that you've got this product and it's available, because again, it's just one of those things that fits into when you take care of yourself in your environment, the body knows what to do to take care of you. When you take care of it, it takes care of you. And sometimes we just get in the way with so much stuff and we don't have to overcomplicate it. Yeah.
I agree.
Awesome. I really do believe that most people want to do the best things for themselves, their families, as far as health and I mean, we all know we're getting older. We can't avoid that. But, we want our parents and, our families to age with, the quality of life so that we can enjoy one another. You want to have grandma and grandpa over and able to have fun with the family and move about freely and stuff. So we want to keep people well and healthy. I really believe people want that. But again, it becomes, we are so overwhelmed with what social media is telling us, do this, do that. For the people listening to our show, what are 3 to 5 things that you can suggest that they can start doing right now to not only invest in that optimal quality of life and making themselves really healthy, but as uncomplicated as possible so they don't have to get all spun up into, I need to do this detox and then I need to cut out gluten and I need to go vegan and I need to do all these things.
Discover themselves. They really got to tune in to who they are and stop living in the ego life of what their brain is creating all these scenarios, and they need to learn self-awareness and just become aware of what's going on with themselves and how the world around them is affecting them. I mean, literally, if people can just slow down and become more aware and see those connections of cause and effect, whether it be in relationships or whether it be with food, that's huge. That's just huge. Drink water. There's soda pop and coffee. I mean, I'm sitting here drinking coffee. I'm a hypocrite if I tell you, don't drink your coffee. But people need to hydrate. It's huge. It's just people are not drinking enough water today. And I see dehydration constantly just by looking at blood and showing people like, look, you're dehydrated. And this is what your cells do. But when you're looking at diet, there's so many things. I mean, that what makes the biggest impact is what should I not eat is more important than what I should eat.
Right.
It's like finding those food allergies, and it's hard to turn around if you're not going to do testing. Sometimes you can start people on that blood type diet, Diadamo, and say, whatever it says don't eat, do that as an elimination for a month. And then bring those foods back in one at a time. And you'll find that you won't react to all of them, but you will find that there's going to be some of them that are just, oh my God, this is what triggers all my symptoms to come on, So food sensitivities and allergies, but from a diet standpoint, we hear about whether it be vegetarian or keto or whatever, I just talk qualitarian, what is the quality of what you're putting in your body from farm to table? Right. Because, the more processing it is, the more, devalued that food is, and nowadays, broadly buy a box of cereal and it says this food contains genetically modified components. Like, do I really want to eat this?
The big labels. I know it's, I know that, like for myself, growing up in Canada, my dad was from a farm, and then I lived on we had a huge beef cattle ranch and grain farm. So I was very lucky for the majority of my life eating from the land to my plate. And what I noticed, and then when I moved to New Zealand, there's so many regulations as far as like they can't use antibiotics, everything has to be grass-fed, like very well legislated and governed. So you're getting I mean, even going to your local grocery store, a lot of what you're getting would be considered here organic because you're not allowed to use these things. When I moved to the US is when I started having digestive issues. It's true. And I'll tell people that and they'll kind of look at me and go like, really? Come on. Like maybe it's your age. Well, maybe it is. But what I know is that I started to have, and not like I'm sick all the time, but I started to notice I just didn't feel as good after eating as I used to. I didn't have that same, like when you eat food, it's fuel. So you should feel a burst of energy. I don't really have that. I have more digestive upset. And it was since moving here, getting off the farm.
I mean, I look at the hybridization of wheat in our country. I tell people, I tell them there was a book out there, the Wheat
Belly.
Was it called?
Wheat Belly?
I think it's Wheat Belly. I mean, what they, how they're processing it and everything. It's a poison in my opinion. Get wheat out of your diet. Spelt's a good alternative, although the government classified it as a wheat. It's not.
Weed. That's right.
But quality is number one. Try to find that self-awareness, slow down,
Yes.
become aware of your body, become aware of your relationships, become aware of your patterns. And then, you have to make a choice at that point. Once you become aware, then it becomes choice. Am I really, okay, I see what this pattern is doing. Now, what am I doing to try to change this pattern? So you have to, we're sitting here saying that people desire to be healthy, but if they're desiring to just buy a product, that's not necessarily the answer.
It's not taking real responsibility.
Right. The responsibility is like, okay, what am I eating? What am I drinking? How am I identifying what's going on in my body? The why, because many people have 40 years of devitalization to their body. And then, okay, this product or this natural approach is making me, I'm just feeling crappier. It's like, well, you're starting a detox.
Exactly.
Exactly. You have to look at the patterns of what's happening and that's when people come in here and I look at their numbers. I can turn around and say, oh, you're starting a detox. So you're getting some foggy brain.
Yeah. Feel like you have the flu.
Getting headaches right here, because the chemistry tells me the side of the body and where in the body. And I'm like, how's that right shoulder? Like, how do you know my right shoulder's bothering me? I'm like, because that's where your chemistry is drawing energy from. I'm like, you're probably getting headaches right here over your left eye. They're like, I am. And I said, they're probably between 11 and 2 o'clock. They're like, they are. I'm like, that's when your sugars are crashing. And you just sit there and you can explain these things to people and it blows them away. Mm-hmm. But what it is I'm just helping them to understand the patterns of what they're doing in life that are leading to the consequences of what they're experiencing.